So he was driving, and the female officer was in the back, and they said they wanted to talk to my wife because they were worried that we were leaving for Greece, and I was like, we're not going to, we've canceled the trip. And they thought that was odd. They're like, why would you cancel the trip? I'm like, why wouldn't, like, doesn't that seem odd that I wouldn't cancel the trip? And she kept pushing that in the interrogation, like, that's odd that you'd cancel the trip. And I was like, whatever, you're trying to get me to say something or whatever, but I thought it was odd that if I said, oh, we're still going, that would be odd to me. So they were in the car, they said they were coming over to interview my wife, they were going to interview her in the house, and then they decided not to. They took her in a car and were gone for about an hour. We had basically everybody over, my brother, Amelia, Allison, their families, everybody came over, and my wife came in the house hysterical, like sobbing uncontrollably, and just went up. She's like, you have to go talk to them. So I went outside, they were waiting in the car, and they said, well, we're going to tape this, and we want you to know that this is what Al said, and he said that Rich did it, and not to call him because he already knows. And I was just like, and later on they had told Vange to go in and tell me that that's what they said, and she's like, I'm not telling him, that'll kill him, like, how can you? And they said, okay, if you're not going to send him out. And that's when I said, do you want to talk to my son? Like, no, we don't want to upset anyone. And that's when I swore. I said, you did a real fucking good job of not upsetting anyone. My wife's inside a mess, and now you're telling me that Hal said I killed them. And I just said, well, am I under arrest? Like, if this is what he said, you have him saying this. And they're like, no, you can go back. I didn't even know. I couldn't even process that. So, and then they drove off, and that's the last I'd heard of that. And and then everyone in the house knew about it, and it was obviously awkward, but and the girls seemed like, you didn't do it, like, it doesn't. And I said, that day was, I still remember my wife just coming in and just being like, she was unconsolable, right? Like, but that's when I'd first heard that. And I questioned, I said, but you said you didn't know and you couldn't tell. And they're like, well, we don't have to tell you everything. And I said, oh, okay, yeah, we don't. And so that was, I was just confused because it was, the day before it was, well, Rich or Rick. He couldn't really understand because he wasn't speaking exactly coherently. And then the next day it was you. He said you, and this and that. So that was a shock. But that was the first time, and it was Officer McNaughton that told me, and the other officer was in the back taping the conversation.